even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Lion Tales, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation, on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Dr. Lynnda Nadien, along with Aurora Workman, and our guest today is Desiree Pennica, class of 2012. So let's talk about your interest in sign language.
All right. I started sign language here at Nassau Community College. So at first, honestly, I was interested in it, but I didn't know how interested I would become. I started, and it came so natural, and it was so fun that I continued, and it was really awesome.
What were some of the courses that you took in terms of sign language? Is it like a level 1 and then you moved to the next one?
Yes.
How does that work?
Sign language 1 for the first semester, I think, and then the sign language 2 for the second semester.
And so when you're using American Sign Language, how might you use that in a regular classroom where you have hearing children?
Right.
How have you incorporated that into some of the work that you're doing with the first graders?
Right. Well, in my classroom, I currently have all children who can hear, but I've taught them, even when I taught third grade previously, I've taught them sign language. You know, they know the whole alphabet.
Fantastic.
I was able to teach them, like, my name is, and then when you ask them, what languages do you speak? And some of them just say, like, English or English and Spanish, and I could say, like, you also speak sign language. And, the faces light up. They're very excited about that. But it helps with that communication process, too, especially if a student comes in and doesn't know how or wants to learn another language. It's something to teach. And if there's ever a student who needs sign language or to have something interpreted, I can always try my best.
That might be a good idea for a club.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you could do American Sign Language. I don't know if we've ever done that before. I know that we have one teacher that is also able to do American Sign Language, but that's something for next year.
Yes,
in the fall.
I love that idea.
And so what was the most memorable event that you attended at Nassau Community College?
We actually had to attend events for our sign language course, and I remember going to some type of concert, and there was an interpreter there, and we had to, watch her and observe her and see, like, the whole setting. So that was very memorable. I really enjoyed that.
Where was that held? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but I remember it was locally. It was definitely on the island, and it was really fun. There were a lot of people there. It was a great turnout. That whole community is a big community, and they're a very strong community, and everyone came. It was really awesome.
I love watching when people sign. It's like music.
I know, right? It's beautiful.
Orchestra or something. I love that.
It is.
And what did you discover about Nassau Community College that others may not know?
What I discovered, and I know I had mentioned it, but that a lot of professors also teach at other colleges. So, like, I had some professors that were teaching at CW Post and some professors that were teaching at Adelphi. So even though I'm here at, in Nassau Community College, a local college, I was still getting that same quality education that others were getting too at other schools.
And that's always great because we have a lot of adjunct professors, and we love our adjuncts, and they bring not only the wealth of teaching at other universities, but that's some of their jobs.
Right.
They're experts in that field,
right.
Whatever field that you're here taking. So I really admire that about our professors.
Right. That's so true.
They really work hard.
And then what convinced you then to move on after completing your degree here? Did you have choices in terms of the 4-year road that you would take or where you would go, or Hofstra just made sense?
Hofstra just made sense. It really did. I mean, I thought about other colleges as well, but Hofstra just made sense. It was right here. I loved being here at Nassau, and it's right across the street. It was just like the easy transition, and it was a great transition.
Yeah, and I think that if you compare the courses, Nassau's courses to Hofstra, how did you find the level of, let's say, intensity of the classes?
Right, equally.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some courses here that really prepared me for Hofstra University, and I think that that's what's needed at a college. So it was an equal transition.
And a lot of times people always tell us that when I got to this university, I was well prepared.
Right. It definitely prepares you. I mean, there were some courses, and I know that they tell you they prepare you in high school, and they do prepare you, but this was just the nice step and the nice stepping stone to go on to another university.
Right, and I realized that, leaving with 72 liberal arts credits really is such a great foundation for anywhere that you want to go.
Right.
And, Hofstra is pretty prestigious for a 4-year school, so to really almost cross the street.
Right.
And you're right there, and you definitely did very hard work here. We were talking about the bio class.
Yes.
Dr. Ryan was the professor.
Bio class.
And it was so hard, and we failed.
So hard. It was so hard.
And then we ended up passing it later on, but it was so hard.
It's such a good feeling when you
pass it. Right. But that just goes to show that, you have to work just as hard. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely a good education.
Yeah. And that's something to really focus on. And we also love bowling. Remember we had bowling?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love
bowling,
that.
And I had yoga.
Yeah. I used to bowl right across the street at
yes, right at
Garden City Bowl.
Yeah, we had to go meet at Garden City Bowl.
And you have to learn how to actually take the score and not on the computer. You have to do it on the paper.
Right, it was on paper.
Right, yeah.
It's actually like an art form of really bowling. It's amazing.
It really was.
I bowled a 157.
Yeah,
I was getting good at that. And then it ended, but I love it.
Well, I grew up across the street from a bowling alley in Uniondale, and that's one thing that all of us can do on my block was we knew how to bowl and we knew how to golf because we lived across the street from the bowling alley and the golf course. So that really made it fun for us.
Right.
That really made it very fun.
Yeah.
But you are listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Aurora Workman, along with Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Desiree Pennica, a first grade teacher at Smith Street Elementary School in Uniondale, New York. So, Desiree, tell me, what tips and strategies do you have for first grade teachers?
Be confident. Keep educating yourself. Constantly go to professional development and learn all the new strategies and tricks. Be open-minded and really get to know your staff and your students and love what you do.
And that's one thing I always thing about teachers, because doctors, they always have to look and find out what's the next thing, and I mentor teachers, and I'm like, well, what magazines, what do you use for your educational tools to keep up on things,
right?
Or to keep it interesting for yourself,
right? You definitely do. I know online there's so much now too, even through Facebook. I mean, I'm constantly following new teachers that have new ideas, and they'll email you, and they're having just something on Facebook that will pop up, their own little seminar or webinar, and you just read new techniques that everyone's doing or listen to them, and it just helps you be a better teacher.
Hey, Lynnda, to be a teacher today must be great, because we didn't have all that.
Yeah. No, I think
there's a lot of resources.
We were talking about, just before we left for the day, about doing things thematically and decorating your classroom, and when in January it's the snowflakes and then the hearts, but we were cutting everything out by hand and decorating by hand and having the kids do it. Because now everything is so packaged. So we remember cutting all the hearts out for Valentine's Day.
That's always amazing, because you guys as elementary school teachers really put a lot of yourself into it. And people don't understand, it's not just from whatever time to whatever time.
Nope.
Okay, because you're working prior, you're working weekends, you're always designing, you're doing papers, you're making lesson plans. So, it becomes, people really don't understand that, being a teacher, and I did this in secondary, it really consumes me, and I was really involved in it, and the moment that I started to sit there and slow down and say, I'm bored, then I said, well, they're going to be bored if I'm bored, too. So I got to figure out how to make things work.
Every day. And the day can be long.
Right.
We were saying today that the week was long and the days are long, and you have a lot of time to sort of fill in, and you want to make it as exciting for the students as you can, so that they really get the benefit of what you're trying to bring across to them.
Yeah, and that's always one of the great things that, I think here, being able to have a cohort of people that you went to school with and being able to reach out and touch somebody like who's an alumni. Or
right. I still talk to many of my friends that I went to school with here.
And it's so great because you're all close, and even those who have gone far still contact me. So in saying that, being the Alumni Association president, I really, really and truly believe in the alumni's networking, and so I'm so glad that you are here with us. But what impact do you feel an Alumni Association can provide in the lives of former graduate students?
I think that giving each other advice on the next step to take, because sometimes that can be very overwhelming and confusing. I mean, I even have observers coming in now that are asking, like, what do I do next? Where do I go? What courses should I be taking? So I think being able to give each other that advice and support and guidance is really great within the alumni community.
And so we hope that everyone out there joins our Alumni Association.
Yes, absolutely.
And becomes members of it. That's always the great thing about teachers, and having an education community. I found one on Facebook that I love. And so when I have a question about something, I train now and I'm working with adults, and I'm telling you, it's so much easier if I had an elementary school class. Oh my gosh. But the one thing about the future and Facebook and just the cyber world in itself is that there's so much information and there's so much that you can do to introduce your students to. And so, unlike, we had to use encyclopedias.
Right.
Technology
has come a long way.
And you can just open up your Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's something posted that can help you. Yeah, Alexa will help you.
Yes, Alexa will help.
She's getting helpful.
So it's a really great world, I think, for teaching today. And I'm glad that, I was a part of the elementary and secondary teaching world, but I'm so glad that I moved on, to the college level. So it's really been a fantastic time to be a teacher today, I think. I really think it is. And I know the work that you're doing is so rewarding for you.
100%. It's really amazing.
Trying to make sure, some of your thoughts about moving students toward an ed degree, what would you say, is that something that you would do if you had to do it over again and it's only been 5 years?
100%. I mean, I love it. I honestly don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just doing something. I feel like I'd be voluntarily doing this. I love it. So if that's something that you love and that you're going to be happy doing with for the rest of your life, go for it.
Well, we'd like to thank our guest, Desiree Pennica, a very proud graduate of Nassau Community College and a member of the Alumni Association.
We want to thank you for being with us. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, along with my fabulous friend, Aurora Workman, president of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association. The creative director of Lion Tales is Rudy J. Breedy. This show is a production of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association. Visit ncc.edu/WHPC for more information. Available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. Lion Tales is powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We'll talk to you next week.